Welcome to the next video. Here we'll be starting with the problems on static operation of ALFC loop. In the previous session we have finished with the derivation with respect to static operation, where we have seen frequency drift was caused due to two factors. One is change in load demand, the other one is effect of change in reference power. So based on that, we'll be seeing few problems here. Let us start with the first one. A 100 MVA synchronous generator operates on full load at a frequency of 50 Hz. The load is suddenly reduced to 50 megawatt. Due to the time lag in governor system, the steam valve begins to close after zero point 0.4 seconds. Determine the change in frequency that occurs in this time. Given H is equal to 5 kilowatt second per kVA of generating capacity. So as usual, when it comes to problem on power system operation and control, we have to understand the statement first, then only we can solve the problem and write the given data. So let us go through each and every section here. First, 100 MVA synchronous generator. That means the MVA rating of the synchronous generator is 100 MVA. Operates on full load at a frequency of 50 Hz. That is, it is operating on full load, full capacity or utmost capacity. Whenever it is operating on full load, frequency happens to be 50 Hz. That means to say it is under normal operating condition. The load is suddenly reduced to 50 megawatt. See, when it comes to 100 MVA as well as full load capacity, so here we can take it as 100 megawatt of power. So the load is suddenly reduced to 50 megawatt. Initially the load happens to be 100 megawatt. Now it is suddenly reduced to 50 megawatt. So by 50 megawatt, the load is being reduced. From 100 to 50 it is reduced by an amount of 50, as you know. Due to the time lag in the governor system, steam valve begins to close after 0.4 seconds. See, whenever the load demand reduces, you know that the speed of the machine will increase. Frequency will increase. So frequency is now going beyond 50 Hz. It will be somewhere approximately 50 plus some Hz. So if you have to bring back the speed or frequency to nominal value, since the speed has increased beyond the nominal value, the speed of the machine has to be reduced now. If the speed has to be reduced, automatically the amount of steam that is hitting the turbine must reduce. So you will have to close the steam valve partially in order to reduce the steam input to the turbine, so that the speed of the machine will reduce. So that's what he says here. Due to the time lag in the governor system, steam valve begins to close after 0.4 seconds. Even if you initiate the closing activity, partial closing activity, it begins to operate only after 0.4 seconds because of the mechanical delay in the governor operation. It is taking after 0.4 seconds it is happening. Meanwhile, in this 0.4 seconds, there is a sudden rise in frequency. That rise in frequency you are supposed to calculate here. Determine the change in frequency that occurs in this time. So in this interval of 0.4 seconds, how much frequency or speed is going to increase, that has to be calculated. Inertia constant is given as 5 kilowatt second per kVA of generating capacity. So now, already when I was talking about swing equation during the mathematical model, we have defined kinetic energy of the rotating mass equal to G into H. Rotating mass is nothing but your rotor. So the kinetic energy of the rotor is given by G into H, where G is the rating of the machine, H is inertia constant, and kinetic energy unit is kilowatt second. So we have got the rating of the machine as 100 MVA. I'll express this in kVA. So 100 into 10 cube kVA into H is given as 5 kilowatt second per kVA. So it will be 5 kilowatt second per kVA. If you multiply, you'll be getting 500 into 10 cube kilowatt second. Then there is a drop in load demand by 50 megawatt, and there is a time lag of the governor which is 0.4 seconds. So during this interval, the total energy stored is given by 50 into 10 cube multiplied by 0.4. So energy is given by power into time. So power is 50 megawatt, that is a drop in demand, and time of governor operation, the delay is 0.4 seconds. So you'll be multiplying power into time. So you get 20 into 10 cube kilowatt second. So further, kinetic energy, the total kinetic energy is given by kinetic energy stored in the machine plus energy stored during 0.4 seconds. During that governor operation of 0.4 seconds, whatever is the energy stored, plus already the kinetic energy which is stored earlier. So this will give us 500 plus 20, which is equal to 520 into 10 cube kilowatt second. The total kinetic energy or new kinetic energy is kinetic energy that is already there in the machine plus excess energy stored during this governor operation. So we have the expression relating frequency and kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is directly proportional to square of frequency. So if you reduce the proportionality, you have kinetic energy new by kinetic energy old is equal to F new by F old whole square. Here I am interested in F new. I know Ke new, I know Ke old, I know F old. F old is under the normal condition, frequency old was 50 Hertz, and Ke new I have calculated here. Ke old also I know already. So taking that, I'll be getting F new, which is equal to 51 Hertz. So due to the drop in load demand by 50 megawatt, there is a rise in frequency from 50 Hertz to 51 Hertz. So the change in frequency happens to be 1 Hertz. So this is the problem. And then we have problem number 2, which says 500 MVA synchronous generator operates on full load at a frequency of 1 per unit. 1 per unit means, as usual, it is 50 Hertz. The load is reduced to 400 megawatt. The steam valve begins to operate with a time lag of 0.5 seconds. Determine the change in frequency if H is equal to 5 kilowatt second per kVA. Again, it's the same kind of problem with the change in numbers. But you just have to observe here, load is reduced to 400 from 500. So the change is 500 minus 400, which is equal to 100. Rest of the procedure is same. So this problem is also available in your notes. You can just try to work out. These two are the same with change in numbers. Next, I'll go to the next variety of problem. Coming to problem number 3, here it says a single area consists of 2 generators with following parameters. Generator 1 rating is 1200 MVA, regulation is 6% on machine base. Generator 2 1000 MVA, regulation 4%. The units are sharing 1800 megawatt at nominal frequency of 50 Hertz. Unit 1 supplies 1000 megawatt and unit 2 supplies 800 megawatt. So the total demand on the system is 1800, out of which unit 1 is taking 1000, unit 2 is taking 800. The load is now increased by 200 megawatt. Choose a common base of 2000 MVA. Find the steady state frequency and generation of each unit if B is equal to 0, and repeat if B is equal to 1.5 and comment on the results. So coming to the understanding of the problem, first he says single area. So already steady state operation is for an isolated area, as I told you earlier, consists of 2 generating units with rating of the machine and regulation individually is given. Units are sharing 1800 megawatt at nominal frequency 50 Hertz. That is under normal operating condition at 50 Hertz, they are sharing totally 1800 megawatt, out of which the share of unit 1 is 1000 and unit 2 is supplying 800. Load is now increased by 200 megawatt. Total load earlier was 1800, now plus 200 is increased. Choose a common base of 2000 MVA. Since the machine ratings are given in MVA and megawatt, in order to facilitate for conversion of per unit, he has given you the common base. Then find the steady state frequency and generation of each unit if regulation constant B is 0, and repeat the same for B is equal to 1.5 and comment on the results. Now let us see how to approach this problem. First of all, in case 1, B is equal to 0. We'll write down B is equal to 0, and first we'll be calculating regulation of machine 1, machine 2 and the load in per unit. So you know that in order to convert regulation from actual to per unit, we take MVA new by MVA old into the actual regulation that is given. So MVA new will always be common base, that is 2000, divided by MVA old, which is the given value, multiplied by 0.06, which is 6% for the first machine. So if you so the value will be 0.1 per unit. Similarly, coming to second machine, MVA new is common MVA, which is 2000, divided by MVA of the particular machine, which is 1000, multiplied by 4%, which will give me 0.08 per unit. and the load demand change in, see, delta PL, delta means change in load demand is 200. If you divide that by the base value of 2000, you'll be getting 0.1 per unit. So the change in demand is 0.1 per unit. Now I'll come to the formula, which is steady state frequency deviation delta omega, which we derived in the last session, is given by minus delta PL divided by B plus 1 by R. So if you remember the formula, it is B plus 1 by R. This is actually with respect to case 1. In case 1, we know that frequency drift happening due to the change in load demand. So that formula is minus delta PL by B plus 1 by R. And he says in the first part of the problem, B should be taken as 0. If you take B as 0, you have delta PL divided by minus. Since you are having two machines, it will be 1 by R1 plus 1 by R2. Substitute this. All the values should be in per unit, both numerator and denominator. So you'll be getting the value in per unit. Then speed and frequency, as I told you many times, are one and the same because they are directly proportional. So I am interested in getting the change in frequency in actual quantities. So I'll multiply this particular value, magnitude of this value, into base value 50, so that per unit into base will give me actual value 0.22 Hertz. And again, remember here negative sign is coming because it is indicating drop in speed. Next, the change in frequency is 0.22 Hertz. So obviously new operating frequency will be 50 minus 0.22, which is 49.78. See, logically you should remember in the problem, whenever they have given that there is an increase in the demand, obviously the frequency will reduce or speed will reduce. So new operating frequency will be original frequency minus the change. The drop in frequency is by 0.22. So obviously 50 minus 0.22 is 49.78 Hertz. Now we'll also have to calculate the change in mechanical powers. That means additionally there is 200 megawatt. How that additional 200 megawatt is taken up by both the machines, how exactly it is shared, we have to calculate. So delta P is equal to delta F by R1. Again, this is nothing new. In droop characteristic, we have seen the formula of regulation. Same formula is being used here. Delta P1 is equal to delta F by R1. Frequency is common, which is, again, always we calculate the per unit value first, then come to the actual value. 0.0044, which is calculated here, divided by regulation of the first machine, which is giving me 0.044 per unit. Similarly, delta P2 also I'll be calculating in per unit, then multiplying it with the base value 0.044 into 2000, 0.055 into 2000, I'll be getting actual megawatts, which is 88.88 megawatt, 111.1 megawatt. So that additional 200 megawatt which is on the system, that is being shared in this manner. So first machine is taking that 88.88, second machine is taking 111.1. This is how it is sharing. Next, the same problem, second part, he is telling if B is equal to 1.5. Again, the steps and the procedure remains the same. Only thing is, in place of 0, you just put 1.5 and repeat the calculations. So you can just quickly have a look at this. So delta omega SS having B 1.5, no other values are changing. Only where B was 0, it is coming and becoming 1.5 here. You're getting this value delta FF, delta F SS, and then new operating frequency. And similarly, delta P1, delta P2, and unit 1 supplies so and so, unit 2 supplies so and so. So now you can see when B is equal to 1.5, share taken up by first machine is 83.33 and that by second machine is 104.16. So now we'll have to comment on the results. So the final conclusion here is, with the drop in frequency, there is a reduction in load demand. So then finally, the observation goes like this. In case B, delta P1 plus delta P2, if you take, it is 187.49, which is basically less than 200. The change in load demand happens to be 200. So if you add both of this, it will not give you 200, it will give you 187.45. The remaining part of the additional load is accounted by drop in demand due to drop in frequency, and that is given by B delta omega, which is equal to 12.948 megawatt. This basically means whenever there is a drop in frequency in the system, some of your equipments are set to work in that particular frequency only. If the frequency goes below a certain value, those equipments will not function at all. At that point of time, since those equipments will not function, it is said to be drop in demand since they are not being consuming any power. So that part of the power uh, that part of the equipments which is not working is consuming 12.948 megawatt. So now if you add 83.33 plus 104.16 plus this 12.98, that will give you 200. So this is the conclusion that we make if B is present and if B is 0. First case B is 0, second case B is 1.5. Next, coming to problem number 4. As usual, you can just work out and repeat. It's the same kind of problem as problem number 3 with different numbers. Please go through this, it is there in your notes, and kindly revert if there are any doubts. Next, let us go to problem number 5. Determine the primary ALFC parameters for a control area with following data. Total generation capacity is 2500 megawatt. Normal operating load is 1500 megawatt. H is 5 seconds. B is equal to 1%. Frequency is 50 Hertz. Regulation is 2.5 Hertz per unit megawatt. ALFC parameters to be found are KPS and tau PS. So if you remember the generator load model, in that generator load model, we have come across KPS and tau PS. So we had earlier defined KPS is equal to 1 by B and we had defined tau PS is equal to 2H by B. So that is what we are seeing. This problem is based on that. So again, try to understand. He's asking you for primary ALFC parameters for a control area. See, control area means area that is equipped with AGC is called as control area. That is under the control. And total generation capacity of that area is 2500 megawatt. Normal operating load is 1500 megawatt. And inertia constant is given, regulation constant is given, frequency is given, and then actual regulation is given here. Frequency regulation constant is 1%. Regulation is 2.5 Hertz per unit megawatt. So in this problem, if you read the statement, you should understand whenever he is referring to primary ALFC parameters, you are supposed to calculate KPS and tau PS. So a formula is straightforward for KPS and tau PS, but first we'll have to go for some simple conversions here. First, we should understand what is B is equal to 1%. B is equal to 1% implies that the load increases by 1% for an increase in frequency by 1%. So always whenever you talk about B in some percentage of some value, it implies that the load increases by that percentage for an increase in frequency by that particular value. So 1% of the load, see the load basically is given as 1500 megawatt. You take 1% of that, which is 15 megawatt. You take 1% of the frequency. Frequency is 50. 1% of that is 0.5. So now we calculate the value of B, which is given by 15 divided by 0.5. 15 was 1% of the load. 0.5 is 1% of the frequency. If you divide one by the other, you'll be getting the actual B value, which is 30 megawatt per Hertz. So the unit of B is 30 megawatt per Hertz. Now I am interested in expressing this in per unit. So I divide this actual value divided by base value. Base value is 2500 given in the problem, base MVA. So 30 divided by 2500 will give me 0.012. See now, previously I had called it as megawatt per Hertz. Now I'll call per unit megawatt per Hertz. Basically it is in per unit. To indicate that it is B, I will be writing megawatt per Hertz together along with that. Now I come to the actual formula. KPS is given by 1 by B. Tau PS is equal to 2H by B. So 1 over this value of B, this will give me 83.33 Hertz per unit megawatt. Since you're taking the reciprocal of B here, the units will become Hertz per unit megawatt. And tau PS is 2H by B. H value is given as 5. 2 into 5 divided by this B value, which is 833.33 per unit. Now if you want, see since this is a time constant, we should always express this in seconds. So divide 833.33 by 50, it will give you 16.66 seconds. So this finishes the problem on ALFC parameters. Again, coming to problem number 6, the numbers are different. It's the same variety of problem. You can work it out and cross check the answers here. Anyway, some of the problems are not completely visible here. I am not focused on this much because already in your notes that I have sent in the mail, in detail the problems are available. You can go through them. Next, we'll talk about dynamic response of the system. This is the next topic. Earlier, we had talked about static response of the system or steady state response. Now we'll go for dynamic response of the system. In simple terms, to say dynamic response means instant response. So we take tau sg and tau t to be 0. These are the time constants involved in your complete ALFC block diagram that you can see here. We take tau sg and tau t to be 0. That means the speed governor as well as the turbine will act instantaneously to the change in demand. Practically it cannot happen. We try to assume for dynamic response that speed governor and turbine will act instantly without any time delay. That's why we are making tau sg and tau t 0 here. So you can observe this is our final block diagram that we had got for automatic load frequency controller. Here I have just substituted. See, earlier in this block it was ksg by 1 plus s tau sg. I have made tau sg 0, and here 1 kt divided by 1 plus s tau t has become 0. So you are left out with this. Apart from that, we have another assumption. ksg into kt is set to 1. So ksg and kt will be set to 1 further when you reduce this block diagram. So similar to your static operation, here again we try to write the closed loop transfer function, which is given by output by input is equal to transfer function g by 1 plus gh. So after the block diagram reduction, you take g by 1 plus g into h. So this is output, this is the input. So if you substitute this here, and then instead of Laplace domain, we take it back to time domain. So from Laplace to time domain, the expression is given by delta omega of t is equal to minus r kps by r plus kps into 1 minus e to the power of minus at delta pl, where a is r plus kps by r tau ps. Instead of writing this entire term here on the exponential, so we just write it as a. And then steady state value here in this particular case can be obtained by taking t is equal to infinity, since you are dealing with time domain. So if you take t is equal to infinity, sorry, t tends to infinity here, delta omega ss will be equal to minus r kps by r plus kps into delta pl, because anything raised to infinity here will become 0. So you'll be left out with minus r kps by r plus kps into delta pl. And you know that kps is equal to 1 by b. So this becomes minus r into 1 by b divided by r plus 1 by b into delta pl. This is the final expression for dynamic response of the system. Now we take up the problem on dynamic response. Obtain the steady state frequency drift for a step change in load demand of delta PL given R is equal to 3, KPS is equal to 100, tau PS is equal to 20, change in load demand is 0.01. All these values are given in per unit. Transfer function in time domain is given by minus R KPS by R plus KPS into 1 to the power into 1 minus e to the power of minus 80 into delta PL. Whatever we have derived here, same formula is taken. So delta omega SS is equal to minus R KPS by R plus KPS into delta PL, because t tends to infinity. So straightforward substitution, regulation is given as 3, KPS is given as 100, and then delta PL is 0.01. So you'll be getting minus 0.029 Hertz. So that finishes with the problem. And similar to the same problem, you're having problem number 8. The only difference is here you're supposed to calculate change in load demand is given in actual quantity. You have to convert it into per unit. Regulation is already given in per unit. And then here KPS is equal to 1 by B. B is given, you'll have to calculate that and then use it in the formula and then get this value. So again, if you work out this problem, you'll understand. All the problems, whatever we have seen so far, are the problems with respect to static performance of primary ALFC loop as well as dynamic performance. Last two problems. You'll have to sit and solve the problems, then only you'll understand. Next topic I'll be continuing in the next video.